London, 1814. A city alive. Bustling streets, horse-drawn carriages, the clip-clop of hooves on cobblestone, a symphony of city sounds. And above it all, a thirst for porter. This dark, hearty brew, the lifeblood of the working class. Every pub, every tavern, overflowing with thirsty Londoners. Amongst them, the men of Meux Co.'s Horseshoe Brewery toiled, unaware of the frothy fate that awaited them. Ah, the Horseshoe Brewery, a place where history and industry intertwine, a titan in the world of porter, where the air is thick with the scent of malt and hops. Home to vats of gargantuan proportions, these vessels are the heart of the brewery. Imagine, if you will, wooden vessels towering over 22 feet high, each one a marvel of engineering, each one a cathedral dedicated to fermentation, standing tall and proud. Filled with enough porter to satisfy the thirstiest soul in London, these vats were the pride of Meux, and Company One particular vat, however, held within it a secret. A secret that would soon be revealed, a weakness hidden beneath its mighty facade, a flaw that went unnoticed by the workers, a single faulty iron hoop soon to become the catalyst for a most peculiar disaster. This seemingly minor defect would lead to an event that would be remembered for years to come. October 17th, 1814. The air, thick with the aroma of fermenting hops, was suddenly pierced by an ear-splitting crack. The giant vat, its burden too great, had surrendered to the pressure. The faulty hoop snapped, a mere whisper of metal against the roar of escaping porter. Over 1.4 million litres of porter, a veritable tsunami of ale, surged forth, hungry to quench the thirst of the unsuspecting city. Section 4. A city awash in ale. Down the cobbled streets of St. Giles the brown wave cascaded, a sight both mesmerising and terrifying. The streets, usually bustling with the daily life of 19th century London, were now transformed into rivers of ale. A torrent of porter, engulfing alleyways, crashing against buildings and carrying with it anything in its path. The sheer volume of liquid was overwhelming, sweeping away carts, barrels and even small structures. The unsuspecting residents, caught in the deluge, reacted with a mixture of panic and, dare we say, a touch of British resolve. Some stood in shock, while others quickly sprang into action, trying to save their belongings. Some fled, seeking higher ground, their clothes soaked and their faces etched with fear. The higher ground offered a temporary respite from the relentless flow of porter. Others, perhaps sensing a business opportunity, attempted to scoop up the frothy bounty in whatever containers they could find. Buckets, pots and even their own hats were used in a desperate bid to collect the ale. As the floodwaters began to recede, the true extent of the damage became apparent. Streets were left covered in debris and drying ale, a sticky reminder of the day's events. The city would take days, if not weeks, to recover from this unexpected deluge. Section 5. Act of God. Sadly, the humour of the situation was lost amidst the tragedy. The town, once bustling with life and laughter, now stood in a sombre silence. The streets, which had echoed with the sounds of daily life, were now filled with the quiet mourning of its inhabitants. The flood, a spectacle to behold, claimed the lives of 8 souls. It was a force of nature that showed no mercy, sweeping away everything in its path. The townspeople, caught off guard, could do little but watch in horror as the waters rose and engulfed their homes. Those unfortunate enough to be caught in its path were swept away, crushed by debris or drowned in the deluge. The rescue efforts, though valiant, were often in vain. The sheer power of the floodwaters made it nearly impossible to save everyone. The brewery, facing the weight of the disaster, found themselves in court. The once thriving establishment was now a symbol of the town's misfortune. The owners, devastated by the loss, sought justice and answers. Yet, in a twist worthy of a stage play, they were absolved of responsibility. The court, after much deliberation, ruled in their favour. It was a decision that left many in shock and disbelief. Act of God, the court declared. It was a term that carried weight and finality. The disaster, they concluded, was beyond human control, and thus no one could be held accountable. One can only imagine the conversations that followed, fueled by both sorrow and perhaps a pint of something strong. In the dimly lit taverns, stories of the flood and the court's decision would be recounted for years to come, becoming part of the town's enduring legacy.